7 minutes in Intermodal.
All right, now finally we're back, and this is episode number 13, and I'm here with Philip Milstead with Hammar Lift. What's going on, Philip?
Hey, doing good. Thanks for having me on, John. Really
Yeah, of
appreciate being
course.
here.
I'm glad that he commented to connect us. I have been following y'all for a little bit, and I've been meaning to reach out. So, thankfully he got us connected to get this done. So, uh, the first question, of course, is going to be the photo above your head there. So I'm assuming that's your family.
Yeah, that's my family. That's my wife and the 9 kids. Six of them are ours, and then I adopted my two nieces and nephew 6 years ago. So I cheated, but hey,
It
it's a
still
big family.
counts.
It's
Yeah,
it's yeah, and it's growing though. We're adding one,
you're
so
adding
we
one
haven't
more.
stopped
All right,
yet.
good.
People think we're insane, but I didn't come from a big family. I have two sisters and one brother, so it's just the four of us. But I never planned it to be like this with my wife. We've been together now over 19 years, so
That's awesome.
um, we would just envision maybe a few kids, but we never thought it would get to here. But kids are a blessing. I wouldn't do anything different. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting because they range. Obviously, this was probably about a year and almost 2 years ago. This
Okay.
picture was taken, and so we're going to get an updated one. But yeah, all the way from 16 to 2 years old. So
Well, I'm
I
sure
have I
you
have four
can.
teenagers now.
I'm sure you can use. You probably have one of the hammer lifts at home to help babysit a little bit the kids, keep them entertained.
Yeah.
Maybe pick them up.
But that's what I put all my groceries into
There you
whenever I
go.
had to get groceries.
There you go. Smart.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So how long have you been at Hammer Lift?
I've been at Hammer for a little bit over a year now.
Okay.
Last year, May was when I joined the company.
Okay, cool. And the company I saw is from Sweden, and there's apparently like 45, 50 years of experience with this. But in the US, do you know how long they've been here in the US?
Yeah, we've been in the U.S. since 2006. We started off
Okay.
in California,
Okay.
and then I believe we migrated to Dallas Fort Worth area in 2016.
Okay.
It could be wrong, could be off by a year or two. But I think the reason why they did that is just, I think, more of a better fit for the company to be here in Texas. A lot of businesses are migrating here, so it just seemed like a natural move for the company.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I've never seen one personally, and I'm excited to see one hopefully soon. But I have ran into situations. I've always been on the equipment side, not necessarily on the trucking side, but I've ran into situations actually this week to where we were doing a chassis deal, and he wanted containers, but there was a challenge because there was no way to put the container on the chassis at that specific location. So is this what you see more of? It's at container yards and such that they use this, or trucking companies really utilize this a lot as well outside of their own yards?
Yeah, it's really kind of sprinkled around. It's really
Okay.
popular in construction because the hammers don't need as much space
Okay.
as you would say a tilt bed. They could pick up and move the containers around the job site as the job site changes and things need to be moved around. We have a business here in Dallas called a swing lift. They have several side loaders. A couple of them are hammers,
Right.
and that's a lot of things they do is construction. They can go on the job site, pick up the container, bring it to their container yard, or bring them another one, or just move it around the yard as or around the job site as things are changing.
Right. And I guess within ports and such, wouldn't be utilizing this piece of equipment because it's going to be attached to the truck itself, right? So it's more of the
Yeah,
company themselves using it for themselves.
yeah, it could be used in-house. We have a couple of companies that do use it in-house
Okay.
to move their own material around. General contractors can use this too,
Okay.
because these large projects call for containers. They'd rather have their own equipment than outsourcing it to third-party providers. But when it comes to like ports and stuff, um, it can be a good fit because it just depends on the operations. If you're going door to door, straight from the port to the customer site, it could be.
Right.
For instance, if the customer doesn't have a loading dock, Hammer's a great
Okay.
opportunity.
Didn't think about that.
Container on the ground, it could be unloaded on site, and you can reduce those, detention times and things like that. Or if there's not one available, you could put it on the ground and be like, hey, have a guy come out with a forklift, start unloading it so we can get moving. It's really just meant to be more efficient and kind of solve some problems that people weren't able to solve in the past with grounding it, moving things around, stacking it. We could also stack.
Yeah, I see that because I do hear a lot about some people who just keep the container on the chassis and now they've lost the utilization of a chassis, obviously, but the container's just on there because they're maybe at their yard and they don't have the other equipment to do it. So I could see how this could actually help them not only at their yard, but definitely there to put the container, like you said, on the ground or even move it somewhere else if they need to.
Yeah, you can put it on the ground. We also have models that are really good for going trailer to trailer. So if you need to
Oh, I
do
see.
if you need to move that container onto another flatbed, or let's say you go on customer site and they have a heavy container, you're not going to do a long haul. You're just going to pick up the container, put it on the flatbed, and they can go. So it could be used in lieu of a mobile crane. In that case, that the hammer is quicker, it's faster, less time from mobilization, less people on the job site needed to do the work. Driver shows up with the hammer, picks up the container or the flat rack, puts it on the flatbed, and the guy's gone. So it could be used in that way too.
Okay.
And we do have a customer in Oakland that uses it a lot for that. I've actually posted a picture on LinkedIn of him just driving up on a residential street with the container, steps over the adjacent chassis and just drops on the flatbed. He's gone. And
Really?
now the guy could take Florida, New York, Houston, wherever.
Yeah, that's actually opened up a few. I think I have a few old contacts that could use this because I've lost some deals were difficult because of just literally that container situation of not having the equipment available to move anything
Yeah.
for it. But I know you'll have. I know you have some updates coming up. Well, we won't say here now, but you got some updates coming up. So definitely want to get you all back on. I'm going to put a video. I think people have to see it, so I'm going to put a video in this actually of the hammer working. And then once you add one more, I think that it'll be around one more kid. It'll be around the time to have it. So
Yeah. Yeah, hammers are great for visual. I mean, we could talk about it all day,
no,
but
you got to see it.
it's a show. It's a show not tell. You got to see it in person. So we look forward to it. To look forward to posting some videos and stuff, and look forward to what's coming in the future.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, man. We'll have you back on pretty soon.
All right, thanks.
Cool.